Hi everyone, welcome to another little training talk here. So I kicked it off last week with looking at recovery strategies. This week I want to move it more towards some of the themes that's going on at the moment, I feel, within the club, within the general running community outside of it as well. So I'm going to focus on mindset, okay, the mindset of a successful athlete, and picking out 5 qualities that I feel I'm trying to use in my own training, and 5 qualities that I want to instill in everyone that I'm coaching throughout Northeast Project, okay, and having an influence on throughout all the work that we do here. So mindset, I mean, is everything when it comes to endurance performance. It's what makes you train, it's what makes you go after your goals, it's what keeps you consistent and disciplined. Obviously we're always told that you got to be motivated, you got to be disciplined and all of that, but how do you become motivated and disciplined is a different question. So I've picked out 5 qualities here that I feel that I'm trying to use in my own work all the time. First one is persistence. This is something that has to be constant. This has to be consistent. So persistence is going after a goal. No matter if it's going good or bad, you're always moving forward, driving forward. Doesn't matter how many setbacks you have, you've always got to be looking ahead. Doesn't matter how beaten down you are. Okay, this takes guts. It's tough. Obviously running is not plain sailing. Performance isn't linear. It's not always on the up. It is a bit of a roller coaster sometimes. But yeah, persistence has to be day in, day out. If you're not persistent, then you're going to be inconsistent. Okay. So second one, I've got positive realization. Okay. Positive realism. So positivity, I mean, is massive when it comes to running. It's a tough sport. You've got to be positive because there's a lot of moments that are very tough in that training cycle. Nobody's positive 100% of the time. That's impossible. You know, I'm not positive 100% of the time. Majority of the time, I'm probably quite negative when I'm training myself, because I'm so tired and fatigued and all that stuff. However, positive realism is about making the best out of the situation that you've got. Okay, so you might be tired. You know, you might be suffering from a workout. You might have a massive day at work or whatever. But you've got to be grateful for what you have right now and what you're able to do and the time that you have. Maybe the thing that you're doing it with, or the person you're doing it with, or the environment that you're in. Okay, so yeah, it's about making the most out of every situation that you've got and being positive in that. It might be the opportunity to race somewhere. It might be, you know, I mean, being positive about your own health. I mean, most runners, you're going to be healthy if you're able to run. You know, you've got 2 legs, um, and you know your immune system's healthy and all that stuff. So like, you know, you've got to be positive in the fact the things that you have got, not what you haven't got. So that's what I would say on that point. Number 3, I've got humility. Now this is an interesting one. So it's not necessarily a quality that you would express with having a positive mindset, but it's basically understanding your weaknesses, and being humble in what all the work that you're doing. So someone who's humble, I mean, they don't overestimate themselves and they don't underestimate themselves either. Okay, so they are aware of the strengths, they're aware of the weaknesses. Okay, so when you practice being humble, you become internally motivated. Now, if you're going to be successful and consistent, and achieve the goals that you set out, you have to be internally motivated. Because if you're always looking for external validation all the time, sometimes you might not get that. Therefore, you know, you're going to feel down about the situation and all that stuff. So you've got to be internally motivated for you, for your own personal progression, for your own drive forward towards your goals. Okay, if nobody was looking anywhere and nobody knew what you were doing, you would be happy in what you're doing. That is essentially internal motivation. It's the highest level of motivation you can have, and it's something that we want to instill in all athletes throughout Northeast Project, to be internally motivated. That's going to make you train, you know, in any condition. Doesn't matter how bad your day is, doesn't matter how bad things are. If you're internally motivated, you will get the job done. Okay, and that's what's ultimately going to lead to success. Yeah, about satisfying your own burning desire, essentially. So number 4 is vulnerability. So sort of linking on to the third one, I guess. It's about not being afraid to fail and putting yourself in situations where the outcome might not be great. You might be going into a training environment or doing a type of training session, or a race that is completely out your depth, completely out your comfort zone. But each time you do that, you learn something. Okay, so this point's all about having a growth mindset. It's about having a growth mindset about all the things that you fail at, and how can you improve on those things that you fail at. What can you learn about yourself? Because you'll learn more from failure than you learn from success. Just looking back at my own stuff, I guess. I mean, it's only the last year I would say that I've really started to push on. I mean, even I could argue that Manchester Marathon was successful for me, but on the other hand, it was obviously 6 minutes slower than my goal. So I learned from that, and I've changed a hell of a lot in the last sort of 6 weeks. And had a good successful day yesterday at Brampton, the Carlisle 10 mile, just dipping under 50 minutes. That's for me was a progression, and I'm confident in everything that I've learned throughout that block into Manchester Marathon, everything I did about it, that I can always go the step further. Because I want to keep putting myself in situations that I may get beat at races, or the training sessions might particularly test me in a way that I might not feel comfortable. But yeah, I'm not afraid to fail in a session. I'm not afraid to blow up. And yeah, it's about accepting failure. It's really, really important. And you recognize when the times that you need to change and evolve as an athlete. That is essentially a growth mindset. You accept that you're not good enough. You accept that you're willing to fail, and you're looking to improve on all these aspects. And you're willing to take advice from other people. You got an open mind, yeah. You got an open mind about everything, and you're just looking for the best solution forward. That's really important. Number 5, something that I did talk about a lot in some of the training blogs that I did, is about having no regrets. So when you get to a start line at your goal, your major race, you want to have absolute no regrets in the whole lead up, in your whole preparation. Now, never ever can everything go perfect. It can never be perfect. Nothing's 100% great, but you can do the best in the environment that you're given. I always like a saying of miss a day, miss a week, miss a week, miss a month. Because for me, I miss one thing and I feels like the whole jigsaw puzzle sort of falls apart, and you haven't got all the elements in there. So you need to do everything that you're willing to do to achieve your goal right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Yeah. So making sure that everything you do around all your training and your way you go about your life, if you are committed to athletics, is that everything you're doing is about heading towards closer to your goal. You want zero regrets on that start line. If you have zero regrets on that start line, you will give 110% to what you've set out to achieve. No doubt about it. If you do have regrets, they're going to be playing on your mind, and the outcome might not be as successful. So that's what I would say. So yeah, make every opportunity count. There's my 5 key elements. Okay, some really good points, I think. We can always be testing ourselves mentally and progressing on. Mindset is everything. Mindset is more important than physicality. From my point of view, in my own athletics and in the coaching that I give, if someone's got the right mindset, they can be the most talented person in the world, but without the mindset, they won't achieve anything close to what someone who is less talented and got the greatest mindset possible. So this is a skill that needs to be trained, just like any other training session. Develop your psychology. Keep on it, guys. Okay? Keep heading up. Thank you.